Welcome to the Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. Every week, we're going to bring you powerful stories and strategies from leaders who are making a real impact by building stronger, more resilient communities. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and equipped with the tools to thrive in both your personal and professional life.
Hi, everybody. This is Beth Almaris with the Foundation for Family and Community and Healing. I'm Beth Almaris, and I'm excited today to talk to you about our organization. We really are passionate about helping individuals and organizations build strength and resilience through skill-based education and leadership development. And speaking of leadership development, I have a great guest today. We have Connie Murphy, who is the VP at Fuse. Hey, Connie, how you doing?
I'm great today. Thanks, Beth. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Thanks for joining me. So why don't you start by telling us all what Fuse is?
I would love to. So Fuse is a national organization, nonprofit organization that was founded on the principle of bringing private sector talent into local government. And so embed executives that have 15, 20 plus years of experience in the private sector and bring them to local governments to lead projects for 1 to 2 years where the government needs some of that expertise that they bring in the content area, whether that's climate resilience or housing, economic development, across a number of different sectors, as well as experience working in complex environments and creating synergy among departments. So they lead a project for 1 to 2 years, and we provide the funding for 90% of that fellow to work in the government, and the government pays about 10% of it. So it's a huge add-on resource, and it often builds the sustainability of a program for something. And more than 50% of the time, the fellow actually ends up working in the government, or they'll work in some civic-related organization connected to it.
That's fascinating. What a visionary organization.
It is. It's really impactful, very tangible to the work they do, and transformative for the government.
So how do governments get involved, and how do you find these experts?
Well, so the governments are part of us building relationships with local city officials, whether that's city or county, that could exist in the mayor's office or different department heads in the local government. And we have a team at Fuse that reaches out and learns what the priorities are of those local governments. We'll meet them at different at conferences. We'll meet them through connections from board members, but we also just do outright research and look at out there. And then we have another team, it's our recruiting team, and it's kind of like an in-house executive search firm, basically. And they reach out to individuals mostly proactively through LinkedIn and other sources to really find executives that have the complement of this talent and have conversations with them. We also have an application process. And we have right now about 50 to 70 fellows that through 2 cohorts a year, and we'll get about 5,000 applications for it.
Wow.
And it's often, I know. It's oftentimes, I've spoken with several of the fellows, they're just amazing. They might be at a point in their career where they're like, you know what, I really want to change. I really want to take my talent and use it in a civic way, especially now. And there'll be someone that is maybe early retirement from it somewhere and wanting to do something different, but it's a myriad of reasons, and they are just spectacular individuals, and they really find a team environment in the local government to work with that is really productive.
That's fantastic.
I know.
So do you have any projects that are in the wellness or mental health space?
We do. We have health-related projects, a lot related to ensuring access for communities that are marginalized or underserved. A lot of our projects for the local governments really work to bringing services to communities that are not able to access it, or, if it's a transportation issue, there's one we have, I believe it's in Cleveland, it's around climate green jobs. And they did a research study and found that the green jobs are less accessible to populations that have less education or are under, a lower income. And so the fellows building a whole plan around accessing and training different populations to be able to take advantage of those green jobs. So there's a lot around family health, and it depends on the priority of the government. But a lot of them focus on really communities that are less accessible.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so these folks that work for you, they work as consultants, they're contractors?
No, they're employees.
They're employees. Great. So how many employees do you have?
We have 27 employees that work in the organization to put together this whole mission. And then the fellows are employed for the period of time that's either 1 to 2 years. Most of them do a 2-year effort. So they're employed for the 2 years with us. That's fantastic. We're probably at about 60 fellows now, and we're looking to double our impact over the next 3 to 5 years by doubling the number of fellows in the field.
Yeah. Well, I imagine the way things have been going with the job market, a lot of folks are probably open to looking at some alternative solutions. Maybe they weren't earlier.
It's a really good point. And we're able to get really attract individuals that have a unique talent, expertise. And at the bottom of it all, like the foundation of it all, it's that they want to do this type of work.
Yeah.
They want to give back. They want to find purpose to their work. And that's really where it's like the perfect storm of it all coming together.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes a rude awakening can be that tipping point that you need to say, you know what, I really wasn't happy, putting it all in for stakeholders or giving everything I have, to make people money versus to make my community a better place for all of us to live.
That's exactly right. And it's oftentimes the fellows will say, wow, you found me at just the right time, or, something. So yeah, it's a great team of yous. And I actually oversee the philanthropy part of the organization. So raising the funds to bring those fellows to the governments.
And what's your funding mix?
So our funding mix is foundations and basically high net wealth individuals that are really looking to create systems change.
Yeah.
Because this is really about making local governments stronger, more efficient, bringing the right resources to them that have a community-wide impact to the work, and build a scalable model where cities around the country can use what other cities do. Right?
Yeah.
So nothing that we do is just only able to be done in that one city. It's really a replicable model that could be done somewhere else. And we're really wanting to see 5-10 years from now a whole systems change of local governments being, able to really serve their communities with greater efficiency and talent.
Yeah, and how appealing to so many foundations really like to fund where their headquarters are.
Exactly. We have a couple like that now, hoping that they work out. But we have some really passionate and really well-committed funders in this field, and we're looking to raise about $100 million over the next 5 years to do it more. So we're excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. It's really impressive.
Thanks.
What are some of the things that you do as an organization to kind of take care of the well-being of your staff?
I'm just in this job a couple months, and it was one of the reasons why I was so attracted to come to Fuse is the culture that they build in the organization. We're a fully remote organization, so they allow for the flexibility of staff that are working in different time zones and have needs around what their home offices are and support for all of that. But we really build rapport with one another well by different virtual gatherings throughout a regular schedule. So some of them are fun-based time together. Some of them are about current events, enabling everybody to stay very focused in the areas that we serve and providing that by team members organizing and delivering those current event sessions. We do professional development over, with virtual, and they offer it also individually to employees. We get 2 weeks off a year that are not part of our PTO. One is following Christmas, and one is a week in the summer when the office just shuts down and everybody kind of gets a little bit of a refresh week, which is amazing. And then there are just countless benefits that they offer, as other organizations do. But there's also just a culture of caring about the person, being respectful of individual different backgrounds, different decision-making opportunities, engagement of all employees around different initiatives. It's not a leveled organization. It's very inclusive of all professionals in the organization. We have staff meetings, full staff meetings every other week. We keep a very good and well-managed communication system in the organization. So I feel supported, respected, and really cared for in a way an organization can.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And we can all learn from that.
And we have a really, I think it's part of the recruiting process too. We have a very diverse staff with backgrounds and different professional expertise, a lot of people with international backgrounds and experiences. And I've just gone through all our meetings with each employee and just found it fascinating, the level of talent that we have around the organization. And I think that speaks to an organization that's trying to serve the needs of a lot of different stakeholders, and they build a team like that.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. And then, helping really get folks into jobs with governments, like you said, about 50%.
Yeah.
Helping get high quality candidates into these city positions.
Exactly. And that's really one of our goals, that more than 50% of the people do get hired. We often say sometimes the fellow won't do a second year of the project because they got hired. And we're like, well, isn't that the best reason why? They actually are now working for them full time. And so that's, it says a lot about the fellow finding like a home to what that they like, but it also speaks to the government finding someone that can really advance a project.
And then recognizing the need, right?
And they often pull in community stakeholders, as part of their work, right? So they're doing a lot of external engagement as well, and really kind of bringing a community to be more cohesive. It's challenging work. You're taking someone and you're plopping them into a local government. There's a lot of things that are new, but our training process and orientation, and they build a cohort, so they all start at the same time twice a year, the different cohorts. So they kind of work with the other fellows all in the same schedule, and they're new together. So they get to meet and interact with different people around the country doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Connie, thank you so much. If folks are interested in connecting or learning more, where can they find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn at Connie Murphy, and they can find me through email at cmurphy@fusecorps.org.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and good luck with your incredible mission.
Thank you. You too. I love it.
Take good care. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today on our Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. We hope you've been inspired by today's stories and strategies for building stronger, more resilient communities. Remember, resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about growing through every challenge to become bigger and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with somebody who could benefit from these insights. Stay connected, stay resilient, and we'll see you next time.